Hello, welcome to the chaos. If you see me standing here in my kitchen in my apron, then you've probably guessed it's Try It Thursday. You are correct. Today we are making Tres Leches cake. I have never in my life made this cake. On my Nextdoor app, I had kind of posted that I was going to be doing Try It Thursdays and if anybody had any recipes. Well, nobody gave me a specific recipe, but a lot of people commented and said, Tres Leches, Tres Leches. So that's what we're making today. I found a recipe off of Pinterest. I'm not going to lie, it's very intimidating. There's a lot of steps, I feel like, but we're gonna do it. If anybody can do it, it's us. So let's get started. Step one, dry ingredients. I have my flour over here. So we need 1 cup of flour. I have a little somebody tugging on my apron over here. Can you see the culprit? You see the little hand? Okay, and we need 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So I use this little lip on the inside of the, so see right here? I use that and make my baking powder nice and even. So see Ice Cream Man again. And half. Yeah, it's the Ice Cream Man. We need 1/4 teaspoon of salt going in. Now we whisk. Okay, now we set this off to the side. We had to separate some egg whites from the egg yolks, and we're gonna do something with each of them. So this next step is for the egg yolks. So I had to take a brief intermission because I realized that my hand mixer, there's no plug where I have my table right here, so I needed an extension cord. I went down into my basement and this is all I could find. I feel like it's a bit much, but desperate times calls for desperate measures. Okay, we have our egg yolks. So we needed 5 eggs total, so 5 egg yolks and 5 egg whites. It doesn't look like 5 because some of them have already broken open, but yes. So now we are going to add, got my sugar here. Now we're going to whip this until the egg whites are pale and fluffy. This does take a little bit of time, so let's speed up the video. So see how this is nice and pale yellow? Now we have to add the next 2 ingredients, which is 1/3 cup of whole milk and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So now we mix again. I was really brave putting this in such a small bowl, but decisions were made. Whatever happens, happens. Okay, so now the next step is we're supposed to gently fold this egg yolk mixture into the flour mixture. It says you want to just stir it until it's just combined. The whole point of this cake is for it to be like very airy and light. Are you stuck over here? Come. Hi. So I'm just gonna do some light mixing. Okay, now our next step is to beat our egg whites and sugar in the mixer. So to the mixer we go. Okay, now we have our whipped egg whites. I don't know if I did this right. The recipe said that you want to whip them until they're stiff peaks but not dry. I have no clue what that means. So we're just going to pretend like I know, and this is what it's supposed to look like. And now we have to fold in the cheese. Well, how do you fold in the cheese? You just fold in the cheese. But what does that mean? Guys, I don't know if anybody's a Schitt's Creek fan, but that's a reference to an episode in Schitt's Creek. Fold in the cheese. No, actually, we have to fold in the egg whites to our yolk mixture. As you know, just very gently. You want to do it as gently as possible because you don't want to deflate the egg whites. I literally have no idea if I'm doing this right, so if any of you watching have made tres leches, feel free to comment and be like, nah girl, you messing it up. Well, yeah, you got this, because I really am not sure. Okay, now that we have folded our egg whites into our egg yolks, we are going to generously spray our 9x13 pan. Now, normally when I make cakes, I put parchment paper on the bottom, so it's like that extra layer of protection that the cake's gonna come out without sticking. But this cake doesn't actually come out of the pan because there's more steps once it comes out that we'll go through. So now we're gonna pour this into our pan. Now we have to spread this out, make it nice and even. Yeah. Now this goes in the oven at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes, so we'll be back. Okay, our cake has come out of the oven. It's cooled for like over an hour now. This is what we have. When it came out of the oven, it was pretty puffy, and then it kind of shrank up a little bit. I don't know if that's normal, but we're going with it. So now the directions say that I need to take a fork and poke a whole bunch of holes in the cake. Okay, now we have our poke holes. And now we have to do the 3 milks. So it is 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk going in. A 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, and a 1/4 cup of whole milk. I think our mixture is pretty well mixed. So now we are going to pour it over the entire cake. It says to make sure you get the sides and the middle, and we're gonna do that. Oh gosh. Although I'm not really getting the sides very well. Oh! Oh, look at this. That's so much better. Why didn't I think about that? I don't know if I'm gonna like this cake, guys. I'm gonna be very honest with you because I don't like soggy things. And I feel like this cake, like with all this liquid, is just soggy. Is gonna be soggy. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Okay, so the next step is to put it in the fridge and let it chill for 1 hour. So because I hate cling wrap, I think whoever invented cling wrap is the worst person probably ever to be on earth. I'm using foil. So I have it foiled and it's gonna go in the fridge for 1 hour and we'll be back. Okay, we have let our cake chill. It's been definitely more than an hour. All right, here it is. And the liquid definitely soaked into the cake, so it's not like it's swimming in it, but I don't know. The last step is we have to make a homemade whipped topping to go on top of this. Now, the key to a homemade whipped topping is your bowl that you're gonna whip it in should be cold. So, I've had my bowl in the freezer basically since the cake went in the oven. I washed it and then I dried it and put it right in the freezer. So this thing is super cold. So the ingredients for the whipped topping is 1 pint of heavy whipping cream, 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Well, it says powdered sugar or granulated sugar. I went with powdered sugar because I feel like the granulated sugar, I guess I'm worried it will have that like grainy texture to it. And a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now this has to go on the mixer with my whisk attachment, and it has to be fluffed. So to the mixer. All right, our homemade whipped topping is done. Let's take a look at that. Now we're going to scoop it onto our cake. The recipe does say that you can top it with cinnamon and fresh strawberries. So we're gonna give it a go. Ta-da! Tres leches cake. Okay, so now that it's all cooked and assembled and done, I think it's time to slice it up and give it a try. What do we think? I don't have any more of my cute small white plates clean. I think they're all in the dishwasher, so we're using a kid's plastic plate. I also don't have an exact cake cutting knife, so we're using a steak knife. It'll get the job done. Okay, so I'm not going to lie to you guys. If I don't like this cake, I'm gonna let you know. Ugh. I'm struggling. Okay. Oh, I lost half my cake in the bottom of the pan. Let's just put that on there. Okay, my first time ever trying tres leches cake. That I made anyways. Who knows? Okay, couple of things. Flavor is actually really good. This is actually a really good tasting cake. I don't like it. I know that's probably weird, like, but it tastes good, you said. I don't like it because of the texture, and I kind of knew that was how I was going to feel based on what the cake looked like when I added the milk earlier, but I don't like mushy things. You guys would love this cake because it does taste good. The cinnamon with the condensed milk and all that, like, all the flavors come together really well. I think my husband's going to love this. I'm just gonna basically eat the whipped topping and the strawberry off of it because that's my favorite part. But yeah. So that's all I got for today's Try It Thursday. Make sure you stay tuned for more Try It Thursdays. If you have a recipe that you want me to try, or not even a recipe, but just like a dessert that you want me to try, drop it in the comments below. Let me know. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube. And I will see you here next week for more.